Coming up on Mountain News this morning, schools are still struggling to find school resource officers more than 1 year after House Bill 63 was passed. Plus, there was a truck and train crash in Lincoln County.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News this morning.
Good morning, I'm Olivia Calfee. The time is 6:33 on December 28th. Now let's check in with meteorologist Shane Smith for a look at your forecast this morning.
Happy Friday Eve to you, Olivia, and to you folks at home. I know I am ready for the weekend, but we got to get through today and tomorrow to get there. And right now we're dealing with a little bit of rain across southern and eastern Kentucky. Most of it back up around the I-64 corridor between Winchester and Lexington, but that is affecting some of our northern counties this morning. And you can see it is lifting off to the north and the east. Temperatures generally running into the 30s and 40s. We're dry in Hazard, Jenkins, and Mount Vernon right now, although we did have some rain just a little while ago in Mount Vernon. 40 your current temperature in London, 37 Williamsburg and Somerset. Good morning, Manchester. You're at 42, 37 here in Hazard, 39 Jackson, 41 Pikeville. Still dealing with a few spots of dense fog, especially around Prestonsburg and Jonesville. So just know that may slow down the morning commute a little bit. A few areas of fog, otherwise partly to mostly cloudy this morning. We're going into the mid 40s for highs, and then the forecast takes a turn to the wintry side tomorrow. We'll talk about that in more detail coming up here in just a few minutes, Olivia.
Shane, thank you. House Bill 63 requires all Kentucky schools to have at least one school resource officer. It has now been more than 1 year since the deadline put in place by the legislature for schools to hire SROs, yet more than 40% of schools don't have one. Districts unable to fill their open SRO positions were required to submit their reasons why to the state. Many say a lack of applicants and funding are the biggest issues.
Finding applicants has been tough, and then being able to afford, 5 for each school when we have a lot of other needs as well, and safety is important, but funding is an issue.
Some school leaders believe the state should fund SROs through new legislation. A collision between a train and a pickup truck resulted in the death of a central Kentucky man yesterday afternoon. It happened in the Moorland community on Kentucky 2141 and Community Center Drive in Lincoln County. As WYMT's Phil Pendleton reports, crashes like this have become common in the area.
Oh, definitely prayers go out for the family and friends.
A family experiencing a sudden loss on Wednesday. A man was killed when the truck he was in was hit by a train.
Engineer on the train says that he pulled up to the track, stopped, pulled up a little bit more, and then proceeded on and pulled in from the path of the train.
And people say collisions like this have happened before.
How often has happened?
How often does it happen?
I've only seen 3 since I've lived around here, so I've seen close encounters and seen people get stalled on them, and we've had to push them over. And
on Wednesday, a 70-year-old man died when the truck he was in was hit by a northbound train. That's the worst possible outcome, but people say they have seen a lot of near misses as well.
I've seen a lady jump out of the car and get hit before it hit her car. So
there are several crossings along the highway with flashing lights and bells that sound when a train is approaching. Many, though, do not have the crossbars that come down when the train is coming.
You've seen people try to beat the tracks right here to the same spot.
It's not clear what happened Wednesday, as the incident is still under investigation. In Lincoln County, Phil Pendleton, WYMT Mountain News.
The Lincoln County coroner says the victim is 70-year-old Danny Lee Dunaway. His family says he may have had a medical issue prior to the collision. The amount of people calling Kentucky's gambling hotline has tripled. The state only has 7 counselors on the job. One problem, gambling counselor says calls this month are 300% higher than they were last December. Sports betting became legal in September. Legislators set up a fund this year to address problem gambling. The money will not be available until some point next year.
I thought it would be a steady progression, that we would get to these numbers as the sports betting evolved. I did not expect a tripling of the raw calls and a doubling of the help calls in the first month.
The problem gambling hotline is 1-800-GAMBLER. It is open 24/7. After several days on the run, a Southern Kentucky shooting suspect is in custody. Kentucky State Police say they found Donald Napier in Floyd County. He is accused of shooting a couple. The two were shot Saturday while they were driving in the great community of Knox County. They are expected to be okay, but police say a tip led them to Napier. He is facing charges of assault. A number of new laws go into effect in Kentucky in the new year. Kristen Kennedy is here to break them down for us.
More than half a dozen new laws go into effect Monday. We're looking into 3 of those laws today. The first is Senate Bill 30. It covers automatic renewals and offers. If you sign up for a subscription or an offer, the new law says the business must tell you when the price will change or when the trial ends. They also have to offer a clear way to cancel. The second is House Bill 180. That requires health insurers to cover the cost of biomarker tests. The tests look for genes and other substances that give information about cancer. They're used to diagnose, treat, and manage disease. For a state like Kentucky, with a high rate of cancer, this bipartisan bill was a big win. And finally, let's take a look at House Bill 360. Owners of electric and hybrid vehicles will have to pay new fees for registering or for charging up at public stations. The fees are up to $120, and they will go to the state's road fund. The new laws go into effect Monday. The new legislative session starts Tuesday.
That was Kristen Kennedy reporting. A man is accused of breaking into someone's Wayne County home while they were in the hospital. The sheriff's office says it happened last week on Hilltop View Road. They say a family friend went to check on the home and found Dustin Southwood inside. He claimed he was also asked to check on the home, but family told deputies that was a lie and found a pry bar sticking out of a safe. Southwood was charged with burglary. 2 people were involved in a crash in Wayne County yesterday. It happened at a stoplight, number 3 at the intersection of Kentucky 90 and Kentucky 92. 71-year-old Daniel Schote was driving a Toyota Tacoma when he collided with 28-year-old Adam Matthews, who was behind the wheel of a Ford F-250. Schote was taken to the Wayne County Hospital emergency room for treatment of his injuries. Matthews was not seriously injured in the crash.
.641 now, time for another check of the forecast, and we are dry across most of the region this morning. A few showers out there, but as we take a look out at Hazard, you can see dry conditions and temperatures into the upper 30s, 40 right now at Pikeville, where some dense fog is still hanging tough over downtown. Not dealing with fog out around I-75, 40 degrees right now at I-75 in Corbin. Here is a look at the satellite and radar picture showing we had some rain along the I-75 corridor. It is moving off to the north and to the east, and it should clear the region in another hour or two. And then we're going to have dry conditions for most of the rest of the day. Can't rule out 1 or 2 renegade showers rolling in, but it should be a mainly dry day. Temperatures right now right around the 40 mark in most spots, couple spots into the mid 30s, and we are seeing those patchy areas of dense fog, especially into the Big Sandy and down into around Jonesville, Virginia, and back over towards Harlan. Temperatures topping out into the mid 40s today, so a bit cooler than we were yesterday. However, even colder weather is on our doorstep and could lead to a few flakes. We'll talk about that coming up in a few minutes.
Thanks, Shane, and thank you for joining us. The time is now 6:42. Still to come on Mountain News this morning. The humanitarian crisis worsens in Gaza as we take a look at what international doctors are witnessing.